Hi, 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 hi. But this is just me talking to the camera because this is just to give you a sense of what it's like when you start talking to the camera. Like, it can feel nervous and awkward and uncomfortable, and I don't really know what to say. But this is literally just the initial warm up. So this is just me practicing getting used to talking to the camera, just talking, 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 talking. Also notice I'm going to give you a few tips. So number one, the first thing we do often is you can see me, I get quite a few compliments, not gonna lie. But that's not to say that I don't look at myself and go, okay? So the first thing is my neck. I just think it's all wrinkly. Well, because I have eczema. Okay. And then often when you look in the mirror, you won't see how people see you. Some people, you might think you're ugly, but there will be someone in the planet who thinks that you're beautiful, right? It's easier if you're in a loving relationship or if you've got certain people that you know that love you, they will probably see you as beautiful. Um, when I go closer though, and I feel like this is what it's like when you look in the mirror and you look at yourself in the mirror. Okay. Now I'm seeing, the lines, it just looks kind of gross, the grey hairs. And this is the thing, because we look at ourselves really closely, right? We're looking in the mirror like this. We're micro analyzing the details that you can't see far away. Or if you do, they're not as obvious. But I'll find myself, oh, I've got a hairy nose. So the first thing, if you're gonna record yourself, the first thing is not to start micro-analyzing the little things about how you look, because chances are very high that people are not going to be micro-analyzing how you look the way you're micro-analyzing how you look, okay? So if I want to feel a little less anxious about how I look, oh God, I'm starting to scratch because I'm of my eczema. What did I do with my phone? Okay, right here. So this simple trick when I use my phone to record is super simple. Rather than oh, rather than recording myself like this on the inside of the camera, I'm gonna turn the camera around. Yeah. And I'm gonna start like that. So what that means is when I start recording on the camera, I don't see this. If I want, I can just switch on the my webcam and I can see what the framing looks like. Um, because the cameras turn around. But what I actually see is this, right? So when I'm talking to the camera, this is what I see. So now I'm not looking at myself, and also I'm able to look directly in the lens, right? I'm able to look directly in the lens like that. Now, this looks a bit creepy because I'm doing a bit of an intense stare here, right? Okay. And so this will lead me to the next tip. It's like softer eyes. Okay, let's stop that. So, you know, rather than looking at a screen, this is another reason why you don't want to, you know, look directly in the screen because you're actually not looking at the camera, you're looking at yourself. And it's more intimate when you look directly in the camera. Now you can do the intense stare, which I sometimes do when I'm a bit ah, but you don't want to look too much like a deer in the headlights. So now I'm just gonna do just a gentle, like a gentle, like my eyes are just they're open, but they're not wide open and they're not also like closed. It's just like gentle, just relaxed, open. And then I find that the soft smile can help. Okay, now hopefully what you're gonna get from me when I look in the camera like this, I can't actually see it obviously because I'm looking directly at you in the lens by looking at the lens. So I can see me in the periphery. Um, but hopefully what you're getting is warmth. okay, by having the soft eyes, the soft smile, and I'm giving you open, kind of open hands, open. I'm just open. I'm trying to invite you into my world, right? So if we're dealing with looking at the camera, this is great. This is what we want to do. Do you know what I mean? You want to like not worry too much about specific things about how you look. Don't microanalyze the specific aspects of you because people aren't coming to your content for that. And they might notice things that you don't notice. Like I mentioned when someone, commented and was like, Mew, oh, this guy is a major Mewer. I was like, what the hell is Mew? And I Googled it. I was like, wow, that is a whole world that is trying to sell a dream for people. And I'm just like, bro, look, if you ain't got the jawline, I mean, I don't know because I was born, I literally, I've always just had this. So I feel blessed that I have it. Great. But it's funny that people are like trying to sell that you can get a jawline and maybe you can. I don't know. But yeah, it's just, there's so many worlds out there. And that's just it. You being on camera, you are inviting people into your world. If you are coming into my world is about communication, communication and connection, connecting with you, connecting with others, connecting with people through the screen, but also connecting with people offline, connecting with people in the real world. It's just so powerful. And the most important one for me is connecting with yourself. This is the thing that has held me back for so long, and arguably in many ways probably still does hold me back. But it's the thing that I'm working on now. It's just connecting with myself. What do I actually want out of life? How can I be the person that I want to be? What does that person even look like? So connecting with myself, and similarly, if you want to connect with the camera, one of the first things I do before recording or before my day starts and to end my day, I bookend my days right now with this, which is meditation. Not everyone meditates, so if you're not someone who meditates, just breath, like breathing for a few seconds, but slow, deep into your stomach. Now, I don't know if it's because I meditate quite a lot, but what I find is when I have a few deep breaths like that, there is a calmness that comes over me. Okay. It's easier when you've meditated a few times. Like it's quite difficult when you're stressed, because I know I've done this as well. When it's like high stress and then you're like just trying to keep cool, especially in a previous relationship I had. And the antagonizing was so much. It was real. It was intense. And I found myself just being like, I exaggerate, of course, for comedic effect, but it's like you feel yourself really having to, okay. And sometimes I just, sometimes I leave and walk away. Sometimes you need to just step back. If you're too stressed, too in your head, if you're too much like this, looking at yourself, maybe just step back. Okay, maybe just take that step back, stop, pause. I don't know why my hand's up. Don't shoot. Okay. So we've made our way. We're talking about, talking to the camera, communication, connection, right? Next one of my favorites. I love this one. It's about voice. Okay. People worry about their accent, especially if your English is your second language. I am currently at the beginning of trying to learn a language. I'm so early that I'm not really gonna go into that right now, but I can understand and I will be able to better understand where you as a non-native English speaker are coming from. And that's exciting because again, why? It's about connection. I'll be able to relate to you more in a way that I wasn't if you're a non-native English speaker. Because as a native English speaker, I was one of those people, like many English speakers, that only speaks English. Because why? The world speaks English. There's many English speaking countries, let alone countries that you visit that English isn't the first language, but you can still get around by speaking English. You often find that two people, even within Europe, that speak, maybe French, one speaks French, one speaks German, they will communicate in English if neither of them speak the other of their language, right? So that fact alone means English is a language that we really, if you're speaking English as a first language, you really don't need to try and learn another language. In fact, in Holland, I studied abroad in Holland, in Netherlands. Nederland, Netherlands, anyway. And I actually tried at the beginning. I was studying abroad, so as a student, and I was like trying to speak Dutch. They were always like, "Don't speak Dutch. Your Dutch is terrible. Speak English," and I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're as a nation, their English is great. Why? I may as well not bother. And in some ways, that's a shame, because Dutch are almost pushing away people, non-native Dutch speakers from speaking. And actually, there's something really nice as an English speaker who, when the whole world kind of speaks your language, there's something quite nice about that because you get to really hear the nuances in different accents. That's why it's probably particularly difficult to sound like a native English speaker because there's so many English accents and we're so, especially in London, so familiar, so fine-tuned to the different English accents that, even an American trying to do a British accent, nah, very, very hard to be convincing. Okay. I just now noticed like one of my eyes, because I've been itching it, is like just got these extra extra lines on it. But that's the thing. Again, doesn't matter, right? You're not probably not looking at me and this weird eye. I also had like at one point gross teeth. And for me that was too much. So I just sorted it out. And that's the thing. If there's something like as in I went to a hygienist, got my teeth cleaned, went to the dentist, made sure everything was fine. Great. Now I can smile and I feel good. Um, so if something really is bugging you and it really is in your head, but to the point where I would do videos and speak like this, or if I was on a call, I'd try not to show my mouth. Like too much in your head. So if that's the case and it's something you can actually sort out, then just do that. Just sort it so that you don't have to keep thinking about it. So yeah, we're talking about accents. When it comes to your accent, again, it's very specific, and if as I said, non-native English speaker, bear in mind, English speakers who are on the internet or live in global cities, they are going to be very familiar with a variety of accents. So you speaking with an accent, it's probably not that big a deal as you might think. What did come across by a friend of mine, which I thought was really interesting, who's Thai, and he basically said Thai people, when you try to learn Thai, they will speak back to you. They will give you encouragement. So if you've got terrible Thai, you're brand new, they will give you the time of day and the encouragement, and they will try and include you in conversations to help you improve your Thai because they love it. That's the point. People love it, like it when you speak their language. Many English speakers will take that for granted. I don't. When I hear someone who's speaking English, and they'll be like, "Oh, my English is not good." I'm like, "Your English is better than whatever language they speak, than my German, for example. So thank you for speaking English. Your English is better than my Chinese." That's a saying that I have. It's like a way of just encouraging them and letting them know, like, you've actually taken the time, made the effort to learn the language that I speak. And for that is why I feel like I owe it to myself and to certain other people to learn a language. But it's long and it's a struggle. I just booked some classes on italki. I just had one yesterday and I got one tomorrow, but anyway, that's another story. Sticking with the accents and so moving on a bit more forward from the accents. Basically, don't worry, okay? Same thing. How you look, don't worry. How you sound, don't worry. However, there are things which I find quite interesting. Oh God, now my nose is doing something. Where how you speak apparently it can have impact. So, a deeper voice like mine carries more weight physically. Like you can actually hear the bass in my voice, which can make it sound like whatever I say can be more convincing. So something that I like to do is again play with my voice. Okay. The point of this is just to have fun. So it's not to be like, oh my God, my voice is so like, why am I? It's just, I want you to lighten up, basically. Don't be so tense about things about your voice. So it's like, we're going to start with a really deep voice and just hear, how do you sound if you try and talk from the lowest part in your chest? What does it sound like? How is the pitch? Do you feel like you sound a bit silly? I don't know. Um, I'm not trying to sound silly. I'm just trying to explore all the different types of voices that I can have. Okay? So at the same time, this is the highest voice I can do. I think that's the highest note I can get. Yeah. So this is the highest voice I can do. It's happening right at the top. So it's like your voice can travel down, and then my normal voice is actually around here. But if I want to bring it deeper, it's around here, in my soul, in my Peckham soul. Yeah. So again, it's playing with the voice, playing with the range. The point of this is just to, so if you're, is to have fun, lighten up, and to see how do you actually, if you go a bit deeper, does it sound a bit better? Like if you, like, this is me going, like you play the far ranges, but then in reality, you kind of just want to go one or two levels deeper. So if I want to be a bit more serious, talk a bit more calm, then I go a little bit deeper. And this is something that I do because I do meditation and I have ran meditation classes in the past. And so bringing that slightly deeper voice helps. On the flip side, if I want to sound a little bit lighter. If I want to, so now my voice is there. It's not quite up here, but it's higher than I might normally do. And what that is if I want to sound a bit like I don't want to sound too threatening. I mean, I'm black, so this is the thing. Anyway, again, like, 'cause I know people would say all sorts of things. My life experience is my life experience, okay? So you can't take that away from me. And growing up, being black in the UK, you would get experiences. I'm a 90s kid, um, and stereotypes existed pretty much. In the noughties, they're still pretty much there. They probably still exist today. I don't get the racism that I had in the past. So for me, things have improved, but I'm aware, where I live is super international. Where I'm from is super international. Um, Now, the other thing about voice, because some people, when they're talking on the camera or presenting or communicating, when you hear someone and they're like, "What? What did you say?" So for me, sometimes my voice is so deep and I'm talking so quietly that people can't really hear what I'm saying because I'm mumbling and they don't really know what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? So in those instances, I want you to explore another thing. I call this the voice projection tool. It's my favorite tool to use with clients and things like that. So the point is we want to find your normal level and then we want to raise your normal level one or two notches above your normal level. And what happens is your voice is going to carry more weight. So even though, let's say your voice is naturally high, your voice is now going to carry more weight because you're going to project it more. So the voice that I used to have, I wouldn't project my voice. And sometimes because I project my voice naturally now, because I've done it so much, people sometimes are like, "Oh my God, it was so loud." Chill, calm, right? For me, that's good because it means you can hear me. So, with that, what I want you to do is we're going to start by counting with zero, and zero is nothing, it's mute. We can't hear you. Then we go up, and then at five, we'll be at about your normal level, and then we'll go higher and higher and higher. And at 10, it's basically going to be like you're shouting. Okay. And again, this is to have fun, is to feel awkward, make a bit of a fool of yourself. All of this is relevant. Okay. Because if you don't feel comfortable making a fool of yourself, you're not going to want to show up publicly because the point of putting yourself in a public domain and why it's so scary is because you're basically exposing yourself and making yourself open for ridicule. It's why I find it so interesting when I read the comments and you see endless hate comments on maybe like a big channel or whatever, or someone maybe slightly controversial. And then when I click on the profile of someone who's done a hate comment, 99% of the time, it's a private profile. Easy, easy. If it's a profile where are exposing themselves, they already understand, right? They're not going to spend that energy trying to hate on someone, knowing what it takes to put yourself out there in the first place. But if you're too much of a coward to put yourself out there, but you just want to like type to make yourself feel better, whatever. I haven't got time for those people personally. I find it quite interesting because you can read those comments and then it's like, take it on board, listen. Except if I click on it and it's like, meh, I'm gonna read it, but I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, I'm not gonna take it personally. I'm not gonna take it to heart because that person's not doing the thing that I want to do. If it's someone who comments and they're maybe in a similar field to me, or they're coming from a place where I aspire to, then I'm much more likely going to take it on board. And having had a career in TV, editing different TV shows, BBC, Netflix, Universal, Discovery Channel, Paramount Plus, I could go on, like basically all the big kind of names. Um, you get a lot of feedback, a lot within the show, it could be the exec producers, it could be the director, it could just be like a contributor, we call them, the people on the screen, like maybe the presenter or whatever. Depending on who it is, what their relationship is to the film, how involved they are, or how experienced they are. Sometimes I want the lay viewpoint. Sometimes I want the viewpoint of someone who knows nothing about the film that I'm making because they're coming from an interesting angle. But if the feedback you get, which you can get this feedback from people really in the know, like an exec producer, is just hate. Like it's not constructive in any way, shape, or form. For me, that's a sign that I should not really listen. Like it's not to be like, oh, they're saying that what you've done is bad and so you shouldn't listen. It's to say that if there's nothing constructive, if you're just shitting on something without taking the time to be like, oh, this is this doesn't work, but this is how you could improve it. Have you tried this thing? It's the way you give feedback. And that's also how it comes down to, oh my God, my nose is itchy. The way you give feedback is also the same thing. It's just like how you give feedback is down to how you communicate. And when you can be better at communication, people are going to respond to you better. And it's the same on camera. Like the way you present yourself on camera, people will respond to you better. Okay. It's like you're not changing who you are, you're amplifying who you are. So voice projection tool, if you follow me. If you remember, starting at zero, we're gonna count. And when we get to 10, it's basically going to be shouting. Okay. Oh, it's a bit more of a whisper, but I'm starting to get a bit more of my voice, the raspiness of my voice in there. And five is starting to get a bit more normal. And I would say actually right now, this is about a six, and six is pretty normal for me right now, but it's um, yeah, it's a bit quiet, and I guess because my normal is actually, I would say, a seven or an eight. So this is like, oh, it's getting to an eight. Yeah, seven, eight, eight. You can start to hear like, I'm projecting it a bit more. So people downstairs would be able to hear me at an eight. Maybe people next door. It's hollow walls. They might be able to hear me. Well, actually, if I get to a nine, they'll much more likely be able to hear me because now I'm basically shouting. In a 10, I'm actually shouting. Like, why are you shouting? Is there a reason for talking this loud? Yes. 10 is always the hardest, because obviously you don't want to draw attention to yourself. Why? Because we're shy, shy, shy. Um, you know, it's weird because I get often confused for being an extrovert, and I know why, because I seem like I'm an extrovert, right? When I'm socializing, I can socialize, I can interact with people, but I worked on it. And what I realized is I do like it, and I think connection is important for like overall life fulfillment. We're social animals. But I realized I am a social introvert. So social introvert, essentially, I'm still an introvert. I still love to be alone. I still need time to reset, but I also need to be able to interact with other people. I find if I'm alone for too long, I will eventually get depressed, or I will fall into habits, old habits, addictions, things that aren't actually helping me or my life or the planet as a whole. Because when you're not helping yourself, you're not helping the planet either. Okay, it's like help. Well, I say that some people help themselves and don't give a shit about the planet. So, but what I mean by that is like it's the idea of giving yourself love first, topping up on that, res filling up those tanks, then going out into the world. So I fill up, then I come and I speak to you. Hi! Oh my God. Reminds me, the next one, facial expressions. Where's your inner Jim Carrey? You know, like whatever it is. But the point here again is by expressing your face over the top. And now I'm mixing the voice thing in with it, right? I'm combining them. Combine, combine. Making a fool, having fun, being lighthearted, just playing around with it. That's the point. Like, stop being so serious. Why so serious, man? Man, why are you so serious, man? Man. I mean, oh God, I could have at least tried to wear a nicer t-shirt for this video. God. See? Oh my God, I've literally just done it. That's my point. It's literally the point. I just had a moment. I looked at my t-shirt and I'm like, oh, what am I wearing? Come on, Ricardo, sort it out. No, no, stop. Sorry. Well, you can't see. This was touching my leg and I freaked out. Stop overthinking. Stop worrying. It's okay. All right? Like, just these little details, generally, people don't care. Okay? Okay. And on top of that, people will notice something that you don't even notice. Right? Like I said, like in my case, it's the jawline, which is a compliment. I can't not see the gray hairs on my head. And I'm like, ugh. I can't not see the wrinkly grossness on my eye. But that's not a reason to not record. That's not a reason to not show up, put myself out there, or whatever. Okay, I can see. I don't actually know how long I've been talking right now, but I'm gonna stop this video because I need to actually make the video that I originally intended to make, which I spoke about at the beginning. Um, and I've got to go out. I'm actually in right now. I'm in a place called New Zealand. Oh, let's see if we can get her. Wow. Wow. Look at that. And as a TV editor, what I'll do is I'll probably put that shot at the beginning of this video, but I'm not going to edit it because, oh my God, I keep touching my nose. It's a bit itchy. Is it red? I love to edit my videos. I love to edit things. I am an editor, TV editor, but there's two levels to this idea of communication. I love visual storytelling, creating videos that are like condensed and beautiful and bang, 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 but they take a lot of time. One, two, I'm trying to teach you about communicating on the camera, communicating with others, and communicating with yourself. Within those realms of communication and connection, I need to show you what it's like, me completely unedited, right? You need to see that. If you can see what I'm like completely unedited, when my nose is itchy, oh my God, then that's good. That's good. Because then you're going to get the realest sense of what I'm like, the realest sense. And when I edit things, it's not that you're getting a fake version of me. What you're just getting is a condensed version of me. So, and this is what we do when we edit. It's not that the story is necessarily a lie, but it's that, and I call them false truths. It's like sometimes it's that you've condensed it so much that the energy that comes out will be slightly different. It will be slightly like pressurized, so you get more. There's a bit of pressure in, so it's shorter, but it's more intense and more like eyes. Teeth, teeth. Oh, neck. Tongue. Bye!